Lakhani. Mr. Arun Lakhani is Chairman and Managing Director of Vishwaraj Infrastructure Limited. They are pioneers in developing and implementing PPP projects in urban water and wastewater. Passionate about a scarce resource water, he advocates reuse of sewage for industrial use to save fresh water for people and agriculture. His company is developing largest IPP project in sewage treatment with reuse of treated water as the basic objective. He's also leading his team in implementing 24/7 water distribution project for the city of Nagpur, which got the best practice citation by the Prime Minister of India recently. VIL is also doing 24/7 projects in Pimpri Chinchwad and also five towns of Karnataka. We'll hear from Pimpri Chinchwad tomorrow. He's also chairman of Maharashtra Badminton Association and Runadhar Trust, also member of BRLF, and has been an active member of industry bodies like CII, FICCI, and ASSOCHAM. Mr. Lakhani, please.
Thank you, Mr. Brara. Good morning, friends. I first congratulate the organizer to take this topic, specific topic of sewage and wastewater treatment. Generally, we see the conferences are generally revolving around the drinking water issue, which is also a major problem for our billion-plus country. So today, unfortunately, still the thought process is attracted towards the dire situation, the urgency of giving water to millions of people. Like in Maharashtra, what we are seeing that a train loads, first time in the history of Maharashtra, is being sent for drinking purposes. 144 section has to be implemented to protect the water tankers from people. So this brings in the basic question, why this situation have come? You see, if we see India, we are not one of those Kazakhstan or the coastal Iran where there is no water. We fortunately, like we used to call ourselves Sujalam Suflam, we have such a, abundance of natural resources. Like you can see in this chart, we have almost more than 1100 billion cubic meter of usable water, maybe distributed unevenly across our geography. We are a large country. So we may have larger, rainfall in some areas and some scarcity in the another. But still, we are not a country which should reach to a situation where we have to, have our society live by train load of water. Somewhere we have gone wrong. I think this calls for, an introspection and particularly looking at sewage as a resource of water, as a source of water and not just as a waste that we need to treat. Coming back to this availability of water, if we see, one more thing I would like to add, what has changed. When we were at the time of independence, probably we were 37 crore, now we are 120 crores. We were predominantly agricultural economy, now we are industry and service industry economy. We were predominantly rural, but now we are 37% urban and growing fast. So the stress that this transformation of the society has put on us and on our resources has led to a situation where we see that we are pumping out 38,000 million liter per day of sewage untreated into nature. Now, this is unseen because you see, if I don't get water in the morning, I will go call my corporator, he will call someone, and then I will get my water. But if my sewage is going untreated for years together, I have no way to know as a citizen, and I will probably not care. Till the time I get back 21% of diseases are waterborne. Till I get back that all my wells, all my surface water, all my lakes, and the mighty rivers like Ganga and so many more are completely polluted. That they are not, forget drinking, you cannot even bathe in them. And downstream of the large cities particularly, if you see the water treatment plant intake parameters, they almost resemble sewage treatment plant parameters. Because that is the situation we have come in. Sometimes I joke that, if we make a rule that all the towns will lift water from their downstream and not upstream, then we will realize what we are doing to nature, what we are doing to ourselves as a society, as a country. I strongly believe that we need a sustainable urban water management, a holistic thought where we are looking at the complete cycle. We are talking of source, water treatment, distribution. Distribution I will again touch briefly because it's important that if we are losing 50% of water as non-revenue water, no way we will be able to make it economically viable. So we must address that issue as well. So distribution is equally important. Distribution, 24/7 water supply, pressurized water systems provide a way to give healthy and safe water to the citizens. Like in Nagpur, we are doing this whole cycle. I will briefly touch on that as well. So source, treatment, distribution, sewage. Now sewage network is another big area which we don't have much in our country. But okay, let's not focus on sewage treatment, sewage network. Let's focus on sewage treatment. Even in the towns, and that is how they are also thinking in the Namami Gange program, that we can lift it from the open nalas. But we cannot allow it to just go through and go into the rivers or the lakes or into the nature. So sewage treatment. Now comes the question, who will pay for it? You see why our urban local bodies have not been able to do this sewage treatment, predominantly because first, their resources are limited. Their taxation is meager. So they have priorities of supplying water, having cleanliness, giving electricity, maintaining roads. Somewhere at the last of this priority list probably will come sewage treatment. Because nothing directly happens to the authority if sewage is not treated, and it's not visible at all. So who will pay for it? In my opinion, till the time we as a society become very robust as an economy, we will have to create a source of revenue for this sewage treatment within the cycle of this urban water management. If we make the rules that the treated water will be given priority by thermal power stations, by industry, by commercial builders, by gardening, we will be able to generate revenue out of this water. In Nagpur Municipal Corporation gets 15 crore rupees an annum for just giving sewage. So on the one hand, they had the obligation to build a sewage treatment plant, operate it for 30 years, and now instead of that, they are getting 15 crores. So a cost center has been converted to a profit center. Why? Because government policy has decided that the generation companies will take the treated water as a priority. This cost has to be absorbed somewhere. But from a government point of view, if you see, if you are talking of, as the UNICEF says, that if you invest 1 rupee in water, you will save 8 rupees in the health budget. So this realization from the government point of view is a must, which will cut out this, which will give the sewage treatment water to the industry and release the fresh water, which they are using now. Can you imagine, like 200 million liter per day is our plant capacity that we will be supplying to the NTPC and Mahagenco. Now 200 million liter per day of fresh water, what they were using, that reservation is transferred to us means Nagpur Municipal Corporation, to the citizens of the town. 200 million liter is almost like feeding 20 lakh people 100 liters per day. So these are large resources that we are releasing for better purposes. I will not go into treating it to the level of drinking and supplying it. It's too costly, it's too psychologically yucky, so let's not get into that. This is a simpler way to do that. I think I have already covered these points, 38,000 and yeah. And this is the cycle, that is what we are proposing and what we are trying to do in Nagpur, where we are in two separate projects. One is 24/7 water supply projects. It's a 22.7 lakh people city. So we are operating 24/7 for the last 4 years now. So we have invested, it's a PPP project. So we have invested almost 50% of the amount along with the government, and we will be operating it for 25 years. And the best part is that the alignment of, the aims, we get paid only for the cubic meter of water which we have billed and collected for. All the sovereign rights of tariff, disconnection, connection, and asset ownership remains with the public body, the Nagpur Municipal Corporation. Similarly, there is another project that is 200 million liter per day of sewage treatment, which is funded 100% by private funding. There is no grant, no support from government. There is an annuity support given to us, that is Vishwaraj. As a Vishwaraj we are doing, 24/7 we are doing with Veolia Water as 50% partner. In this second project, the rights to sell water are with us. So over a period of these 2 years, we have been able to find buyers in NTPC and Mahagenco, which is in the process. In principle, they have agreed to buy this water. Now, whatever revenue we get from them is shared on an agreed formula with the corporation. So at the end of it, again the same thing will happen, that corporation will not be paying anything for the CapEx or OpEx and make some money out of it, rather than having it as a cost center. So unless we develop such type of models, it will be very difficult for our urban local bodies to really treat this water. CapEx, probably they can get support from central government or state government. Still the OpEx itself will be a challenge. So this is a brief about the Nagpur project. It's a 72 million investment for 36 million for tertiary treatment, which we will invest only when we get the water treatment, water cell agreement in place. It's a 32 years, 30 plus 2 years concession. Now, what is in it apart from, the direct benefit to the corporation? You see, the water security that the town gets in Nagpur, what the Nagpur Municipal Corporation was to build a barrage after 7 years. Now, with these reservations getting transferred, it will not be required for another 20 years. Today, we can say in Nagpur that the next 50 years, with all the growth accounted for, industrial population, we will never ever face any water shortage. So this type of planning is doable. That's what my point is. It is doable. It's for our leadership to take up this issue and communicate to people. Water being a sensitive subject, it is culturally, it's very, attached to us. We have a background of that selling water is a sin. So we must also account for that, and we should also see that we need services. The young people, we are 25 years median age, and we are growing. We have a good economic rate of growth. So we need to give them the required services, of the quality services. So to bring these two together, I think we need to communicate to people and make them understand that these probably PPP, I call them fourth P, I will come to that next. Second thing for industry, I am sure, industry may feel the pinch today that they are buying a costly water. But 10 years down the line, these industries who have this secure water supply will be much more advantageous position than those who do not have it. Because drinking water supply will never stop, and so will not be sewage. So these are I believe in the longer term, these are the secure water sources, rather than, doing something as a CSR today. And in addition to that, in Nagpur, we are supplying now this gas to Scania, who will be applying 75 green buses or CNG buses in Nagpur from the gas which will come out of this treatment. So I think in my earlier speaker has already mentioned about the large amount of investment that is required in this sector, because unfortunately we have a very, not a very good position in the treatment side. So now, what I am supposed to speak about the industry perspective. So I think it's just the beginning of an industry. So the projects need more time than what is normally envisaged for the authorities to understand and formulate a contract. They are still in the evolution phase. There is no standard, model concession agreement in place till now. Industries do shy away when they are asked to commit for a minimum take or pay. Look, any private investor will invest money only if there is a minimum assured offtake that he gets from there. So why this is there, because the groundwater is not really controlled that much. The groundwater is always a resource which people can rely on, particularly the industry. So the expectations are, they should, I will not agree with this first expectation here, because sewage network is a big issue. It requires huge investments, but we should try and do it as much as possible. But I don't see this happening, as on priority. But yes, reuse need to be pushed. ULB must endeavor to use treated water so that they can set an example for other people to follow. Dual pipelines in the new residential complexes coming in should be a norm, if not a rule, and treated water mandatory for industries. That policy intervention is required. So what is the way forward? In my opinion, and I believe that we must evaluate all our steps on these 4 basic criteria. First is sustainability. Sustainability, I will translate it into the, actual more numbers than just an idea. The idea is beautiful that whatever we use as a natural resource, we should try to give it back in near similar condition. We cannot just have this one-way street of exploiting our resource, that we take water, we use it at drinking, we throw it as sewage, and it just disappears. We don't know, and we keep on drawing fresh water. You see, the maths is very simple. We give 100 units of water. If I'm supplying, say, 1,000 million liter per day of water to a town, 800 comes back as sewage, 80%. Now, out of this 800, even if I don't have the sewage network complete in place, etc., generally 500 to 600 is whatever is tappable. If this 600 MLD we tap, we are talking of getting a fresh water replacement of 500 million liter per day. It's a huge resource. On one hand, we are pumping 1000 MLD from kilometers, miles to bring to the town. And here we have, within the 4 wall of town, 500, half of that available. So this resource, if we do not allow it to be used or we do not treat it, it's a lose-lose situation. It goes back and contaminates our wells, our rivers, our lakes. So what do we do? So anyway, we have to treat it. So why not treat it further and make it economically useful? So that is the whole idea. Efficiency and accountability are the two other things which PPP appears to be a way out there, but it should evolve to 4th P. The private enterprise should be sensitive towards the water projects, because water projects are essentially social projects. They are not like any other commercial or technical projects where we can just complete, like I do roads. It's very simple to make a road than do a water project. And there must be investment. There must be skin in the game of the private operators, so that there is an accountability which is for a longer term of period. And the most important, the people-centricness. See, in my 4 years of experience, I think this is what is essential for PPPs to sustain and survive in India. Unless we, as a part of contract, as a part of our deliverables, involve people as citizens, the largest stakeholders, into the process of PPP, these PPPs will not succeed. They are 30 years contract, they will see 6 regime changes, political regime changes. To communicate to people, to onboard them, to make them responsible for monitoring as well as communication to the larger masses about the hardships, about the benefits, about the service levels. This must be done not only by the private operator, but should also be part of the government or the public, the public client, which is missing today. We think that, people will understand whatever we do. That's not a good thing to do, particularly in case of water, which is lifeline, which ultimately is what it's all about. So I think this win-win for all stakeholders is not something good to have, but it is essential for business to survive. There is a management story that Times Now has recently covered. So there are some YouTube connections that they have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lakhani. We've got about 10 minutes for questions and answers, and just one or two from me to begin with, and then we'll have questions from the audience. There are a number of PPP models currently being talked about. Which ones do you think will work better going forward based on the experience we've had in the last 10 years? It's on, sir.
I think the new hybrid annuity model is one of the is much more balanced model than the earlier BOT or annuity or PPP models. You see, particularly in roads, because they have transferred the risk of the traffic to government by giving an annuity support, but at the same time having commitment from the operator of investing 60%. So I think it's a good balance.
Okay. What's been the biggest learning besides, as you said, involvement of the community? What's been the biggest learning from the Nagpur project?
We are still learning.
Right.
It's hardly 4 years that we have been operating Nagpur project. I think, openness to ideas, and even, like they can come from any quarter of the society. Like I share with people that our experience of collection from the slum area, we were getting 85% recovery without follow-up. And we were zapped like why it is happening. And then they told us that earlier they were losing half a day, husband or wife, to stand on the public stand post. Now that they are making 2,000 to 3,000 rupees more, they don't care giving you $100 or $150. So I think, this is a process, there is nothing set here, and particularly in India. Although there are models overseas, but we cannot replicate them here. We are different.
Okay. We'll take a few questions from the audience now, and go ahead, sir. And I'll request the questioners to be please short and not have long questions. Go ahead, sir, please.
Good morning. I'm Charat Hora from Black and Veatch. My one question is to what do you feel is the process or the procedure to replicate your Nagpur model in other parts of the country?
Leadership. This is the only point, leadership. If there is a will, this can happen. It is a complex thing. It's not easy to do. It's getting into everybody's household to put a meter, so it's a complex thing. So you need the leadership there to be convinced that this is good for people and communicate and stand by the concept. Also, it takes time. It doesn't happen in if it's a 5 years, 10 years period. So someone has to be really convinced to support it. And then and only then should the private people put money.
Okay. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Alok Srivastava from NTPC. You have talked about water uses for the power plant. I'm having some observation which we have visited recently to your office and Nagpur Municipal Corporation also. Definitely, in today's scenario, we have seen the water importance. Earlier, it was in book Jal Hi Jeevan, and now we are feeling it.
Sir, just a question, please.
Yeah, that's a question is that regarding this water uses in power plant. First, we have to ensure the water quality, and the second thing is that the quantity of water we should be using it should be on continuous basis. So we have to ensure both points, because sewage treatment plant, the water flow is not coming uniformly. Sometimes it is more, sometimes it is less. So for power plant user, if we are going to use it, we have to ensure this thing. And my third point is that, in all municipal corporation, we have felt that the plant was designed, it has been working since last 6-7 years. Now we are going to use this water for power plant, and it will be used for another next 25 to 30 years for plant parts. So definitely we have to think about the structures which are in use in the power plant.
Thank you, sir.
That's my point.
Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, I must, congratulate NTPC for taking this path-breaking thought of using the treated water and, supporting the society and the Swachh Bharat mission in a big way. Second thing, yes, you see, the quality has to be the same as what you have designed your plant for, and it will be, because it's a technical issue and it can be resolved. We need to, only configure it like that. Second thing is the consistency of the supply. The consistency of supply, in my opinion, like, if the overall, like in case of Nagpur, there is already a surplus sewage that is flowing by. So considering that capacity, redundancy there, and the water supply being water supply, it cannot be stopped and it will never stop. This will be much more assured supply than you see, if you see the Parli Vajnath in Maharashtra, they build a dam, the Mahajanko has built their own dam, but the whole dam has gone dry. Now what do? But no city will go dry without water. So in my opinion, this is much more reliable resource.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the technical things should be added.
Okay,
as
go ahead, sir.
redundancy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Rajesh from the World Bank. Quick question is that I understand that there are some regulations underway, probably already in place, which require power plants to shift towards dry cooling. Now, dry cooling would mean that the amount of water that you take in will be significantly reduced. So how would that start to impact existing and future projects? Thank you.
Definitely, the dry cooling is the best thing to do, and that all new plants should promote it naturally, because water, if we can avoid using water there, naturally we should do that. But the point is, as far as the existing plant is concerned, and till the time they go to the dry cooling situation, they should shift from the fresh water and release that for drinking, rather than using it for the cooling tower and evaporating it. So yes, whenever it's a welcome thing from the water, sustainability point of view.
Go ahead, sir. There's a question. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sachet from Voltas. My question is, what are the challenges you faced in the annuity model, which you've done up till now? And could you also throw some light with respect to the hybrid annuity model, and what are the challenges we can face in terms of security?
I think, sir, I will, if we can address just the first part, otherwise there'll be a long answer. We just have 2 more minutes left for other questions, yeah. So the challenge with the annuity model, Mr. Lakhani.
The challenge with the annuity model is, it depends on your client. Simple. If you have a good client with a good rating, with a good, standing with the banks, you don't have any problem.
And you've not had any issues?
Yeah.
Okay, so they've not had any issues, no challenges. Okay, any question from the middle column, please? No? In which case we'll move to the left side. Yes, sir. 3rd row.
Hi, myself Bodhisattva Dasgupta from Organica Water. Arunji, one small question. For the Nagpur 200 MLD plant, now since there is no corporation money at all, and it's all based on the revenue which you are going to generate from the NTPC, what kind of a payback period you're looking at? And do you have any tax holidays also?
No. The basic model is annuity support from NMC. So the basic structure is sound based on the annuity. The upside for NMC and us is if we are able to sell the water. If we sell the water, NMC recovers all its money in this process, and we in turn get security of payments, like what the earlier question was, because these are 30 years contract. If we have an NTPC paying us for 30 years, my bankers and me will be much more comfortable. So the fundamental, answer is, it is an annuity model, but this supports it, makes it much more robust, and also contributes to the society.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Any other question on the left side? No, in which case we'll come to right side. 2nd row, please. Yeah, sorry, 2nd row. That'll be the last question. Go ahead, sir, please.
Hello, sir. I am Lalit Varshney from KSB Pumps. We have in municipal limits, lot of you were saying that treated water can be generated, but we are also having lot of vehicles, big fleets of vehicles like in Delhi, DTC buses, cars, and we are washing them. Is it possible to give the treated water to these people, and is it feasible that way?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We are thinking of, giving the tankers load supply to some of the individual users, because the other option is to put second double dual pipeline, which is not feasible economically, except in the new, in the new townships probably. But yes, like we do with the, hydrants will be there for taking this treated water for the construction sites and they can also be used by these, buses, washing and all.
Okay. With that, we will close the session. I know a number of people wanted to ask questions, but we want to make sure we stay on schedule. It's been a very informative and very insightful session, as always. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Lakhani. Thank you. Sir, I would actually request you to maybe stay on, if you don't mind, for this.